Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, dear OTMers. Wherever in the world you might be joining us from, welcome to the yet another episode of OTM GTM Insights. For those of you tuning in for the first time, we aim to demystify the recent feature releases and offer valuable perspectives for consultants and end users alike.
And a warm welcome back to our regular listeners. We appreciate you continuing to join us as we delve into the ever evolving landscape of Oracle's logistics and the global trade management solutions. Today, we have got a packed agenda covering enhancements across administration, emissions tracking, machine learning, few things around tendering, and some key GTM updates.
As you all know, today's focus is OTM 25B release notes review.
Sounds good, Ashok. Firstly, it's great to see a dedicated best practice section being integrated into the OTM administration guide. This new area promises specific guidance and recommendations to bolster the stability, performance, and overall usage of the application, right? And topics will range from security and user provisioning to implement and probably design, as well as integrations, some things around agents and the user experience like workbenches, reports, some things around system optimization, as well as the simplification of troubleshooting any errors. This resource is accessible on the Oracle's documentation portal, and it should be a valuable asset for all the OTM and GTM admins looking to optimize their system.
It's a great news, Best practices, in my opinion, never documented at one place. It's going to help everyone. Staying on the topic of user experience, we have seen several enhancements to the enhanced workbench. One notable addition is ability to set table parameter defaults to horizontal vertical grid lines. When adding or editing the table, you can now configure the default visibility of these grid lines. By default, horizontal grid lines will be visible and vertical lines are hidden. This offers more control over the initial presentation of data and workbench. Again, this feature requires no specific enablement steps.
And that's a really nice touch for customizing the workbench views, expanding on the existing workbench capabilities that we have. And we now even have enhanced workbench table objects for that, which includes emission rules and emission factors in the 25B. This means we can directly add these objects to our workbench layouts. For example, the emission factor can be added as a child table to the emission rule with a provided saved query, obviously, to link these two screens, right? And this enhancement improves visibility and access to the information crucial for emission calculations.
Great. See, navigating related data more efficiently is always a plus. Furthermore, for those who utilize the group tables and enhanced workbench, there's a new group and ungroup toolbar icon for the parent table. Adding this icon to toolbar allows users to easily toggle between the grouped and ungrouped views of their tables. This really simplifies the process of switching between these views.
Yes, Ashok. And these workbench enhancements certainly aim to provide users with more flexibility and control over how they view their data, right? Now, let's shift our focus to a crucial area, which is emissions management.
Definitely, Ananth, that's my favorite topic too. We're seeing increased emphasis on visibility and management of environment impact. Firstly, the system now provides the CO2 emissions with the shipment actions. Several key shipment actions like assign rate, change equipment group, change service provider, choose the least cost, or select a change provider, and the recalculate shipment cost now include CO2 emissions column. So this mainly allows the users to consider both cost and emissions impact when making decisions. This feature is automatically enabled. You don't have to do anything specific.
And that's valuable for making more sustainable shipping choices, right? For those looking into integrating these emission management with any external systems outside of OTM. OTM has also released the REST API for these emission rules and emission factors. This basically allows for crude operations on REST APIs, enabling easier management of this data for external sources, including tools like the Oracle's Visual Builder add-in for Excel. This feature requires no specific enablement. And finally, for those looking or using the logistics network modeling functionality, emissions are now provided on modeling shipments and modeling scenario comparisons too. You will have visibility to plan carbon dioxide and carbon dioxide emissions on LNM shipments. And as an additional metric in the scenario based bulk plan comparison report, this allows for easier comparison of cost and emissions impact for different logistics strategies.
Yes, if you see our recent releases, it's very clear that emission management is becoming increasingly integrated within the platform, providing users with the tools they need to track and potentially reduce the environmental footprint. Let's move on to another hot topic, but so relevant, embedded machine learning.
Certainly, we have two key updates here. Firstly, there's the introduction of embedded machine learning for product classification code proposal in the GTM area. This new machine learning framework embedded within GTM uses historical data to propose product classification code for items. This is quite different than the existing product classification, where the shipment or the system ships with the optimized algorithms, and having a large set of historical data improves the accuracy of the proposals. Users can create machine learning projects and scenarios and then load the historical data, train the model, and then run the proposed classification code action on the individual items in the item manager. It's worth noting that in this release, access is limited with plans for future enhancements.
That's a promising development, for automating and improving the accuracy of product classifications. Secondly, there are embedded machine learning enhancement focused on the objective model types for order route prediction, planned ETA prediction, and planned and event-based ETA predictions. These enhancements include pushing the training data to analytics, guardrails to limit the bad data, and population of prediction values. These aim to improve the general usability and solution quality of these ML powered features. Again, no specific enablement is required for these sort of enhancements.
Now, moving on to the tendering, we have a few interesting updates here. One key feature allows you to exclude service providers who decline ordinary tender in the subsequent spot bid tender. So by setting the property glog.webserver.tender.spotbid.exclude carriers rejected tender to true, service providers who have declined an ordinary tender will not be included in subsequent spot bid tenders for the same ship. However, it's important to note that this does not apply when multiple shipments are selected for spot bid tendering.
That's a useful option for managing the tendering process more strategically. And another enhancement in tendering relates to mainly the open tender special services for the service provider feasibility checks. The two new special service check options have been added. One is a service provider is considered feasible if they provide at least one required special service, and infeasible if they provide no special services shipment requires for them. These two new options, controlled by the certain properties like Serve Pro rule check and provide more granular control over the service provider feasibility based on the special service capabilities. We often see that, in a tendering process, say we would like to give the shipment only when you provide a specialized equipment or when you provide a white glove services like that. This would be a great feature.
Indeed, Ashok. And finally, in tendering, we have one more update concerning the Oracle Business Network. And this is a topic which we have briefly talked about in one of our previous Insight podcasts as well. So there's a staged external system to send tender to Oracle Business Network. This feature aims to simplify the connection setup between OTM and Oracle Business Network for tendering, improving the velocity of partner onboarding. Um, and this Oracle Business Networks facilitates B2B collaboration and automates electronic transactions. So that's the primary goal of having the OBS. And this enhancement is again similar to all the previous features we spoke, is automatically enabled.
Certainly, Ananth, the way I see it is, OPN, Oracle Business Network, is going to change the overall ecosystem, how OTM is going to interact with all the concerned stakeholders. This should streamline the integration with the OBN for tendering process. Let's now turn our attention to some of the specific updates with the global trade management.
Absolutely. So first of all, there's a new feature that allows you to hide the item bomb grid on the item, right? Given the more robust trade item structure support in GTM now, the item bomb section is no longer widely used. And to avoid confusion, it can now be hidden. This is controlled by a property called as item bomb is enabled, which defaults to true. And setting this to false will hide that particular section. There's also a related property for including the item bomb, which controls whether the item bomb details are processed through integration or not.
There's another significant area of improvement is RPLS, restricted party screening. Several recommendations and enhancements have been introduced to improve the efficiency, especially efficiency and the speed of RPS engine. These include utilizing the global exclusion service preference instead of exclusion of certain words at the service preference level, utilizing the service parameter level thresholds, suppressing the lifetime events during the RPLS, improvements to the RPLS service process, utilizing the single user data source profile, and improvements to the RPLS screening via agents. Several properties like events after screening update and process user task list, the screen party process, properties like that, and avoid locking during the bulk plan, locking properties for bulk screening can be configured to further optimize the performance. The use of single user data source profile, while requiring a specific configuration steps, potentially the CR from the ops is highlighted as a key improvement for high-speed data access. And I certainly feel the improving the RPLS engine performance is going to be a good win-win for all the OTM threads. And the implementing this recommendation can significantly enhance the RPS performance.
And now, finally, for those involved in reporting and analysis within GTM, there are new global trade operation intelligence subject areas in the version 25B. This provides access to GTM data for creating queries, reports, dashboards, as well as data visualizations. We can access this via the ad hoc query under the Global Trade Intelligence module. And the subject areas are organized into folders such as trade transaction analysis, restricted party list, screening analysis, declaration analysis, and the item analysis. This offers valuable insights into global trade activities, potentially improving the business processes and identifying cost saving opportunities.
Well, there was a comprehensive overview of latest features across both OTM and GTM. It's really encouraging to see continued investment in both functional enhancement and performance improvements.
Indeed, Ashok. And from administrative streamlining to enhanced emissions management, also the intelligent automation and more robust reporting capabilities, these updates do offer tangible benefits for our consultants as well as the customer base.
Mm. So, for those wanting to delve deeper into any of these features, we encourage you to consult and check the administration guide and in the application help topics mentioned, throughout our discussion.
And finally, thank you for joining us for this episode of OTM GTM Insights. We hope you found this overview informative.
Until next time, stay informed, keep optimizing.